did ARI even get started?
ARI got started answering the needs of the market. It was coming after World War II. The economy was growing, businesses were growing. We saw opportunities to become more active in the fleet business. The leasing industry itself was just started. There was a need for capital in the businesses, and a lot of the big corporations wanted to expand, and they wanted to expand their truck fleets or automobile fleets or car fleets, whatever they needed. And so we knew that there was a need, and we were fortunate enough to go after some business from RCA, which was right close to us here in South Jersey. They wanted to lease a fleet of trucks. Cudahy Packing wanted to lease a group of refrigerated trucks. They needed, and they were out of Chicago. U.S. Steel was organizing a fleet of salesmen to sell the U.S. Steel products around the country. They wanted a fleet of cars. They had no cars at that time, so they wanted a fleet of cars to go into business. So we had a large truck business, we had a medium truck business, and we had a group of people who wanted to lease salesmen's cars, and we were trying to answer a need. We went after these customers. We satisfied them that we could handle their needs, and they were the first big customers that we had as a fleet management business.
You know, the mission statement, even though it wasn't formally written back when Granddad founded an ARI, is about hiring the best people, train the people.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we're talking about today, trying to find the very best people, and we've done such a good job in that. Training people is even more important probably than it was back when Granddad started this business.
There's no question about it, because the business is a lot more competitive today, it's a lot more sophisticated today, and if you don't have the very best people to work with, you're not going to be successful.
Ready to dial back into the 60s and 70s?
Sure. The focus of industry was, our industry was moving from closed-end leasing to open-end. And so we had to adapt to that very rapidly, because most all our back shop operations were really geared to the closed-end type business. In the late 70s was an acquisition we made, Interlease Corporation out of Stamford, Connecticut. And that was kind of a wake-up call to us, because it introduced us to new industries we had no exposure to before. And one of those was the Chessie rail system. That was their largest account. It was dedicated to their service. They also had a dedicated body company. That introduced us into body companies, which we had no exposure to before, didn't know anything about them, and also introduced us into getting into the railroad industry.
The fellow that headed up the operations at Chessie went to Burlington Northern. He actually offered to do business with us, so we wound up buying Russ Watson's company. And,
Fleet Body.
That's it.
That was the creation of it.
What it did with the railroad business was it kept expanding it. I think we gained so much synergies from it, much more than we ever anticipated. Well, certainly early 80s, a major accomplishment was getting the Federal Express account.
Federal Express got us into some areas of service that we had never even dreamed of. And one of those requirements was the administration of license, title, and registration renewal management programs for their entire fleet, 50,000 vehicles at the time. So it launched us into a whole new product line, which today is a huge profit maker for ARI.
Yep.
The other two major deals that won in the 80s was the Burlington Northern Railroad. We won that business. And also Exxon, dealing with the largest corporation in the world at the time, meant a lot in what our salespeople could go in and talk about. Like, here's what kind of stuff we do for Exxon. We had an excellent reference, and that has launched us, I believe, into now probably dominating the oil and gas industries and all the support people involved with it.
And each one of those helped us to grow from a technology standpoint.
Correct.
And our expertise in the company helped us grow to another level and help us build the strategies and the systems we needed to support those kind of requirements.
Right.
At that time, late 80s and early 90s were primarily the dumb terminal days, the infant stage of the PCs.
Yeah.
The PCs were what opened things up. Instead of trying to make compatible a dumb terminal with our system, the PCs, with the software that they had, enabled us right across the board to be able to have every one of them, because they all were getting personal computers. And that opened the door, the floodgates for hundreds of customers.
So I think that's a big success in the 80s and 90s that made ARI one of the leaders in the industry, was the fact that we would customize to the customer need.
It was nice to lead the pack. It was nice after all those years to be able to have our competition say, wow, we have to move fast to catch up to ARI.
Who is this little company? Yeah, where are they coming from?
The fleet management industry had been around for a few decades, and in the 80s we started to see consolidation in the industry. And ARI was really a second-tier player. And the senior management team at the time knew that if we were going to survive and be able to thrive in a consolidating industry, we needed to grow through acquisition. And we found the Lend-Lease organization, which was owned by folks that we had known for decades. Lend-Lease was a seminal moment in the company's history because it put us in a position to compete with public organizations. Completing that acquisition moved ARI from a second-tier player to a first-tier player in the industry.
We saw an opportunity with Lend-Lease to double our size and really make a statement in the industry and the competition that we were a major player, in the business. Lend-Lease had a Canadian operation, and we very much wanted to expand into other countries. One reason was because the U.S. Base of customers we had was right on the beginning edge of customers saying, well, can you help us in Canada? But we started to see that need to cross-border service technology
And have the
bring that
expertise in
technology to what we were developing in the States throughout. So a customer could sit in his office, his or her office, get on their computer and have a whole profile of their fleet.
And it brought a lot of outside ideas, a lot of talent, a lot of influence. So I think that was one of the first major steps too in us looking out and reaching out and getting expertise in other areas and bringing it in-house.
The other thing it did for us as a company, when we went through the simulation of Lend-Lease and ARI, it was a real big challenge for everyone. It tested us in every system and every operation of the company. It made us recognize that we need to do some things here to deal with this, but it made us stronger. We wanted to develop a profit-sharing program for all non-managerial employees. So we tailored the program that we presented to Holman based on Partners in Excellence goals, which were tailored directly to our service delivery. And we had all the departments buy into this and all set goals. And the idea was to deliver unparalleled excellence, service excellence to our customers. And it worked. The key was achievable goals and measurable. Everything had to be measurable. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. We felt because we had a common goal in the Partners in Excellence that it would bring the people together to achieve some of these goals.
And it did.
And it did.
That was pretty cool. We saw that firsthand a couple of times. When goals were falling short, other departments would offer and see what they could do to help achieve the goals.
It improved the service delivery of the company, which we felt if we can improve the service delivery of the company, we're going to meet our financial goals and everybody's going to win. And it was a success.
It's kept all the employees, again, throughout the world now, rowing in the same direction. Everybody's pulling with the strategy, and now the strategy is filtering down, as has been, to the departments, to the employees.
I think the Partners in Excellence program brings to the focus to of the culture of this company and preserves it. I mean, that's really what it's done, and that's what you need to do to be successful.
Canada today is very different than it was when we entered 25 years ago. We were just about 30 people. We managed about 7,000 vehicles. And today in Canada we have some 300 people working for us. We're 166,000 managed vehicles. And we're just a different organization. We contribute to ARI financially, obviously in a different way than we did in the past. And what ARI has really done from a strategic level in Canada has been a bit of a proving ground products and services, things we've developed. GMS is a good example of that. Started in Canada and is now leveraged around the globe at ARI. So I think the size, the nimble ability to be flexible that we had in Canada has really set us up to be a contributor on a broader basis in North America and now across into Europe.
When ARI decided that we needed to expand our operations beyond the borders of the US and Canada, we sent one of the early global pioneers for ARI, Phil Procida, down to Mexico to do a search and find out what the best approach was going to be to have operations in Mexico. And we pretty much understood we needed to go with someone who was like-minded. And after a lot of searching and a lot of interviewing people, they found the Zapata family, which was the largest Ford dealer in Mexico. And we found it was a very good match because they were like the Holmans of Mexico. In the very early days, it was almost a tick-the-box scenario where we could say we were a North American service provider. We could handle your needs in the US, Canada, and Mexico. And it was very simplistic early on when we first got started. We offered leasing, we offered very basic services. But over time, we've incorporated all of our services and all of our programs that we have here. At the end of the day, what you have in Canada and US, you can have in Mexico. Now, there's a greater commitment from Ariza to be fully aligned with what we do at ARI everywhere around the world. So, they have a strategic plan that's in alignment with ours. They have partners in excellence now. They're committing to training goals. Their training goals and initiatives exceed what we have throughout ARI. And that makes it very easy, even though it's a 50-50 joint venture, that there's full alignment between both organizations. The Zapata family and the Holman family are very, very similar. They care about their employees, they care about the community, and they care about being successful.
Our investments in technology are critical to our success over the long term. One of the things that's really important is to never take your foot off the pedal of investment in technology. We've seen organizations do that, and the minute they do that, they fall behind. Technology is changing more rapidly year after year after year. And if you don't continually invest in technology, you're going to fall behind.
I believe that there are two things that are critical to our success. One, obviously, is the quality of our people. But as importantly, and certainly an emerging focus in today's marketplace, is technology. ARI has been a leader from the technology perspective from the early days, but certainly there's been more focus recently in terms of what the market is asking for and what we're able to deliver. And really that's about the immense amount of information that is out there today and the ease with which you can turn that information into tools to make decisions.
The technology that's present in a vehicle, how you gather data from a vehicle, is ever changing. And with our approach to continued investment in technology, we've created a lot of differentiation between us and our competitors.
Our customers are demanding it of us, but quite honestly, we need it ourselves. We need to use that information ourselves to make analytical-based decisions that complement what we know is the right thing for the business. It's not just about our client-facing tools. It's about being more efficient and more effective by using the tools that we have internally. And it's also about using the information that we have self-contained to make decisions on what our future success might look like.
The strategic planning process that began in 2005 was kind of the beginning of a new journey for us. Our strategy from that period of time was very successful. 2005 was a record year for the organization, 2006, 2007. Then we hit the recession, but we were well positioned. We still grew our business through 2008, 2009. When we got to 2010, we redid our strategy and came up with the founding principles of foundational, protective, and growth. The foundational aspect was, how do we build on the foundation that we've been so fortunate to inherit? The second pillar, protective, is all about customer service. How do we protect all that we have and everything that we've won? And from the growth side, how do we expand in our target markets? How do we innovate and create new products and services? And how do we...
It's not just about our client-facing tools. It's about being more efficient and more effective by using the tools that we have internally. And it's also about using the information that we have self-contained to make decisions on what our future success might look like.
Expand geographically. And today we've been working over the last 8 to 10 months, we've been working on a revised strategy that will take us in the future, that will focus the organization, build upon all the success we've had over the last 10 years, and take us out to the next 10 years. The cornerstone of any successful business is having world-class people. But we felt to be a world-class organization, to be a global organization, we had to provide world-class educational opportunities, world-class stretch assignment opportunities, and we wanted to be a destination organization. So to do that, we needed to create ARI University. You can go to school to get a degree in many different things, but you can't go to school to get a degree in fleet management specifically the way ARI provides it. So ARI University, with over 500 courses both online and in classroom, is designed to give our people the best opportunity to learn aspects of fleet management, but also specifically how to service all the various industries that we service, whether it's governmental agencies, the oil and gas industry, the railroad industry, whatever. We have tracks through ARI University that are designed to give our folks the knowledge and experience that they need to service our customers. Part of the ARI University experience is the individual development plan process. And what we've asked our folks to do, and what we've given the opportunity to do, is to create their own individual development plans. It's a 2 to 4 year look at an individual, where they are today and where they want to go and the things they need to do to attain their goals.
People take pride in the fact that they want to get better, they want to create more opportunities for themselves, more opportunities as a result for their family, both developing professionally and personally.
Yeah, and a real big piece of that is 100% tuition reimbursement. So ARI offers 100% reimbursement for tuition from the day you walk in the door. And that is something that many organizations do not do. So we think that is a major differentiator when it comes to the learning experience that we provide at ARI. If you want to be a world-class organization, I think the first thing you do is measure yourself against world-class organizations. So we looked around to see, how do you do that? And we investigated and learned more about the Fortune 100 process. Fortune 100 validates for our people that they come first. We want to give people the opportunity to take their career in their own hands and move forward in life and get better every day. And I think it shows the commitment from the ownership and the management going to the lengths of putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself in Fortune magazine. If you do that, you're visible to the world. If you do that, you better make a long-term commitment to stay there. So I think it validates for our people that we're committed. So all the things that we've done, ARI University, individual development plans, Fortune 100, all of our investments in our people are designed to make sure that we can grow this business effectively.
I think the decision was made late August, early September of 2010 that we would join forces and ARI would acquire Auto Truck. And we talked about market segments that we serviced, knowing how strong we were in the railroad industry and knew we wanted to diversify a little bit from that. We talked a lot about vertical integration, things that we could do to control the supply chain more for our clients and deliver vehicles quicker and more and on time. I think it continues to give us tremendous opportunities to go into our customers, understand their needs, and to control the supply chain, I think, more than another fleet management company.
We can bring options and solutions to customers that are beyond what anybody else can do right now, because we have such a broad footprint in the technology side, our locations, our logistics, all the things that are out there. This distances us from everybody else.
And I think we're just scratching the surface on how we can leverage the opportunities that we have as a group to go into our customers.
We know that a customer can come to one stop and literally fill whatever they want to fill.
There's a number of reasons why Fleet UK for ARI is so compatible with our organization, why it fits so well. Number one is just the foundation of the business. They're in a fleet management business. It's about transparency. It's about managing total cost of ownership. We've had dozens of people become involved in the integration. They are learning new ways to do things, becoming a little more creative, understanding the cultures and the way in which business is done over there. But so it's been a great collaborative effort between people in the business, both in the business here in North America, in the business in the UK, with the colleagues on the information technology side.
The UK is really going to be the springboard for our move into continental Europe. And the rest of Europe is closely watching how we do in the UK and really looking for us. They're looking for signals as to what's to come in the rest of Europe. We feel the major economies and the major marketplaces in Western Europe is a great place to expand the ARI brand. Each of these countries have their own unique marketplace and their own unique culture. The market is sophisticated and it is mature, but it's primarily serviced by one business model, a full service lease bundle type model.
Fixed cost, fixed budgeting, zero risk. Our role, and quite frankly, I think our responsibility to the marketplace, is to disrupt things and to bring a different way of thinking. As we, evolve our business model in Europe to represent what we think will work there, I think our role really is to bring something that's very different, and that is as much about changing the way of thinking as it is to delivering the products.
When I look back at the ARI organization from its very beginnings until the 1980s when I started with the organization until today, what I look at is the premise of getting better every day, evolving the business with a long-term focus. That's what's given us 66 years of success, is taking a look at things in an evolutionary pattern, not in a revolutionary pattern, but just continually growing and raising the bar day in and day out. And it really starts with making sure that we surround ourselves with world-class people, train those people, reward those people, give back to the communities that support our success. I think as we look forward, it's about focus and execution and the evolution of the business. So today, we're uniquely positioned. We're the most recognized brand in fleet management in North America, and we're expanding our brand globally. Let's focus on the 5 or 10 things that we could be really effective at, drive those into the marketplace, drive those to our customers, and we'll continue this evolution of ARI for another 66 years.